All right, everybody, welcome back to the best damn training channel on YouTube. Today's the day. We're finishing up the Unit 3.0 program, which I'm going to be officially naming the Unit Legacy program, because I feel that this is a culmination of the previous versions of the Unit program that I've done. Been able to kind of refine those and tune them up over the last 5-6 years and create this version of the Unit program where I can put it out there and feel like I can't really tweak this thing much better than it already is. So it's become the Legacy program. It's been 6+ years of iterations and tweaks and changing up the program to be able to get to where it's at right now. And this is the final day of testing where we're going to be running our 40-yard dash. Now, the one thing I want to talk about today is the setup for the 40-yard dash when we do this, because I'm doing it Apex official style. So those aren't familiar with what Apex official is, it's a 7-event competition starting with the 40-yard dash, overhead med ball toss, broad jump, max approach vertical jump, 225 bench press test, 405 trap bar deadlift, max reps test in a minute, and then you have a 1 mile run. So those 7 events make up the Apex official competition, but we're starting with the Fast 40. And the reason why it's called the Fast 40 is because you have a 1-yard lead before that timing eye gets triggered into your 40-yard dash. So the first timing eye here is at the 1-yard marker. The second timing eye is going to be at the 41-yard marker. So your 40 yards is going to be from yard number 1 into yard number 41. The reason there is a 1-yard lead is Apex official is trying to eliminate as much of the human error as possible, trying to standardize a test in a way that everybody can do no matter where you're at. You can set this up. You don't have to have somebody starting and stopping your timer for you, all that kind of stuff. So that 1-yard lead is the reason why it's called the Fast 40, because it should allow you to get a little bit faster of a time than your normal standard 40-yard dash. But it standardizes everything to make it as fair as possible for anyone who's doing it. With the Fast 40 start, you start from a 2-point stance, which again is going to eliminate a lot of that human error of trying to be technically proficient through that first initial step. You have a little bit of leeway, you go, trigger the timing eye, and then you run your 40-yard dash. I believe that this 40-yard version could potentially become the standard of what a 40-yard dash test is going to be, because even at something like the combine, which a lot of people consider the gold standard of a 40-yard dash test, it still started with a hand. It's a guy sitting on the line watching the hand movement of the athlete, and as soon as that hand leaves the ground, he starts the timer, and then it's a laser finish. So even there's an element of human errors. Did he react the same with every single athlete? Probably not. Did he react the moment that hand started to move, or was he a little bit slower? All that kind of stuff is a human error type element that is trying to be eliminated by giving yourself this Fast 40 setup. So we've got a 1-yard lead into the 40-yard dash. I'm going to be warming up here with a couple more takeoffs going 10, 15, 20 meters, and then we're going to start running some 40 yards and see what we can get today as the final test for the Unit Legacy program. All right, we're going to get ready to run this 40. I'm going to do probably 1 rep to kind of warm up. So I'm gonna do this at like 90-95% effort, then I'm gonna send it for 3 attempts for a fast 40-yard dash. One thing I forgot to tell you guys, with that 1-yard lead, you don't wanna cheat it by giving yourself more than 1 yard. So when you're lining up on the line, let's say the edge of this white line here is where I'm measuring my 1 yard from, you need to get your toe on that line and not getting yourself back behind. Because if you're getting yourself behind that line too much, you're giving yourself more than 1 yard of a lead, which is going to allow you to get a little bit more speed in that start and essentially drop your overall time a little bit. So crowd the line, put the toe on that line there from that 1-yard marker, and then take off from there. So goal for today is anything below a 4.5. Now with this Unit Legacy program, I've hit a lot of personal bests. I hit a personal best on the flying 10-meter sprint, which was 0.93, puts me close to 24 miles an hour. I don't think I have that type of speed in me today, but I do think I'm gonna run pretty fast. I also hit my lifetime best on a front squat. I hit damn near close to my lifetime best on a back squat. I also power snatched 140 kilos, repped out 225 on the bench press 25 times. Like, this program has been incredible. So be able to put a 4.4 on a 40-yard dash is kind of like adding the cherry on top before we finish this program off. Didn't feel spectacular, but it felt decent. What's that time say though? We got a 4.508. We're really close to where we want to be. All right, attempt number 1, Apex official Fast 40. And there we have it, 4 4.431. And then we have another 4.444. So 443 and a 444. Both of those are spectacular. It's exactly what I wanted today. Now, if I was doing the Apex competition, knowing I had 6 more events to do and possibly gonna have multiple attempts on a broad jump, on a vertical, on a med ball toss, that kind of stuff, and I hit a 443 in my first rep, I'd probably be done doing the 40. Save that energy for the next event, for the event after that. Try to accumulate more points, try to get more first place wins. So if I run a 443, I'm shutting it down. But today is just a testing day. So it's good to see where you can kind of go from rep 1 to rep 2 to rep 3 if you're giving yourself 3 hard reps, because that's going to set you up for your warm-up when you're about to test for the 40. So the day of, if you know, like, for the past 12 weeks, I'm hitting my best rep on rep 2 or 3. What you want to do in your warm-up is do your first rep as a warm-up. So before you do your first official attempt, go off to the side, run a hard 40 as hard as you can. Count that as your first rep if you consistently are showing that rep 2 and 3 are going to be your faster reps. If you're someone who on rep 1 or rep 2 is going to be your faster rep, then you want to set yourself up to get your best time possible on that first rep. If you hit that goal of what you set for yourself, don't try to beat it. Go on to the next event, save yourself some energy, save yourself some time, and prepare to do better on the next event. So that's my mindset when I'm going to be going into Apex here in April. Is if I'm hitting anything below a 4.45, I'm shutting it down. It doesn't matter how low it is. It could be a 4.49 and I'm shutting it down. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna run one more here though, because this is just a testing day during a training cycle. And I'm gonna see if I can't get below that 4.43. And if I do, and that consistently shows up where rep number 1 is fast, rep number 2 is slow, and then rep number 3 might be my fastest, then I might hit that rep number 1 in the warm up and then go for 2 attempts during the event. But that's what training is for. You play around with these things. You figure out how you're performing over the course of 2 to 3 reps, and then you make a judgment call the day of to figure out what's going to set yourself up to give yourself the best time. So I'm taking full rest in between these, so about 6 to 8 minutes in between each of these attempts, and I'm at 5.5 minutes right now. So a couple more minutes here, and then we'll send it for one more 40, see if we can't beat that 4.43. And attempt number 3, 4.43. So there you have it. All right, so there you have it. Spectacular fucking end to this program. So during this 12 weeks, I've hit a 0.935 on a flying 10-meter sprint, which put me at 23.95 miles an hour. I've hit a 220 kilo front squat. I've hit a 250 kilo back squat. I've hit a 185 pin press, so just from the pins doing a bench press, 25 reps on a bench press. Now I've now hit a 4.43 on the fast 40, and I've hit multiple 40-inch verticals and also broad jumped 11.3 during this program, which is why I'm calling this the Legacy program, because this is not I don't feel like making tweaks makes the program better. I feel like if I were to make any other version of this program, it would just be a variation of what is now. So this is the last iteration of the unit program that I will ever create, which is why it's called Unit Legacy. The next program I will come out with will be an Apex style program, which is still going to be a unit style, but a lot more focus on those 7 specific events. So it's not necessarily my standard unit program, which is just about being big, fast, and strong, because we're going to have to train for the mile. We're going to have to train specifically for trap bar deadlift max reps, things that I don't normally train for in my everyday programs. So as for unit, this program is by far the best program that I've ever written, and I'm excited to launch this for you guys. And I'm going to launch it on December 12th on Train Heroic, so keep an eye out for that. As it comes for the 40-yard dash today, like I said, anything in the 4.4s I was going to be happy with. A 4.43 is spectacular. If I get anything below a 4.45 on the Apex day, I'm calling it quits right there, because low 4.4s is going to be a spectacular time on the Apex events. Also, if this is something that you want to train for, we are going to be starting a Apex training cycle on my monthly subscription training program for the unit team training on Train Heroic. That link will be down in the description. We're going to go through kind of a 2 to 3 week intro to Apex, where we'll have an opportunity to test some of the events. We'll have to test the trap bar deadlifts. We'll have to test the mile, do some different things like that in order to get some baseline numbers. And then we'll officially start training for the Apex event in April, come that first week of January. So you guys can have some time to get your testing done over the course of the holidays with Christmas and New Year's and everything that's going on right now. And then come New Year, we ramp it up and we get ready to train for the Apex event. The goal for Apex is podium. I want to go out there. I want to compete. I'm going to be going against a lot of young guys, but I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm still want to win. Like, I don't have the ability to just like show up and have fun. The competitive side of me is already starting to fire itself back up, and I haven't felt this way since I was bobsledding probably 4 or 5 years ago when I was competing at a high level trying to make the Olympic team. It's kind of died down a little bit. I've just been training, focusing on creating good programs for my clients, building the business side of things. And now that I'm starting to have this Apex thing kind of looming in the distance coming in April, it's like Tim has created the slogan for Apex is like finally, like something to train for, finally a program to follow, finally that feeling has come back where I feel like I am going to ramp it up and I'm coming out to stand on top of the podium. Like, that's all it is. I'm calling my shot right now. If I don't get top 3, then it's a failure. So that's what we're going for. So other than that, man, I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.